What's up everyone, and welcome back to Top 5 Central. Getting fired by work sucks, there's really no debate about that. But getting fired on live TV must be so much worse for, obvious reasons. So today we're looking at 5 mistakes that got people fired on live TV. Real quick, have you or someone you know been fired from a job? I mean, I never have, but maybe you guys got some crazy stories, so whoever comments the craziest story in the comments gets pinned at the very top. Anyways, let's get right into it. Number 5. Everybody knows that no matter what job you've got, slipping up and cursing in the middle of the workday usually isn't a good idea. With that said, if your job is talking to thousands of people live on air, dropping the F-bomb is gonna have some serious consequences. I mean, anchor Justin Kramer got all the way through a show without a mistake, and then signed off without a problem. The cameras cut away, the outro music played, and then everyone watching heard something they weren't supposed to hear. Basically, Justin assumed he wasn't mic'd anymore and told his co-host that it was time to get the quote-unquote F out of the studio. Sounds like a simple mistake, right? Well, his bosses weren't so understanding. After the clip went viral, he was fired for the screw-up, and it gets even worse. Like he was in the final stages of moving to another job anyway, but once they saw what had happened, they refused to hire him too. It just goes to show you need to watch what you say, because you never know who might be listening.
This is from the local NBC affiliate in Wichita. At the end of their 10 o'clock news on Saturday, anchorman Justin Kramer said something I think many of us say at the end of our workday. Unfortunately for him, he said it on live television.
That is all the time we have for this Saturday night. Saturday Night Live is next with a new one with John Goodman as host. We'll be back tomorrow after football. Hope to see you then. Let's get the fuck out of here.
I sent my letter in earlier, but I changed my...
Number 4. Let's be real, most people have zoned out at work at least once in their life, whether they want to admit it or not. I mean, losing concentration is a pretty common thing, but it cost this woman her job. Basically, the cameras cut back to her after a report, but she wasn't paying attention, like she was just staring at her pen and daydreaming instead. Not just that, but when she realized she was on air, she totally freaked out, gasping really loudly before doing her lines. Everybody watching thought it was pretty funny, and she even jokingly tweeted about it, but apparently her bosses didn't see the funny side. In fact, they immediately banned her from working on the 24-hour news channel, and no amount of backlash could change their minds. The crazy thing is, it was already a pretty innocent mistake, but it was also 10 o'clock at night when she screwed up. I don't know about you, but if I was working that late, I'd probably be struggling to stay focused too. But I mean, I don't know, I guess it was her job to not, so I'll leave that up to you guys to decide.
Vukovic, ABC News, Mount Sylvia.
Now to sport with Meredith Sheehan.
Number 3. When it's your first day at a new job, getting nervous is pretty normal, but screwing up this badly is really strange. I mean, the poor dude was filming his introduction to the news team, but the whole thing went so badly that he never officially made it onto the show. I'm not joking, he started his broadcast by swearing twice straight into the mic, and then he answered questions so awkwardly that even his co-hosts looked uncomfortable. Not just that, but he looked completely terrified and kept staring down at the desk while he was on air. The good news is, even he knew he had screwed up and tweeted about how badly he'd done as soon as he got home. The bad news is, his bosses couldn't forgive him just because he was scared, and said him not knowing his mic was on was absolutely no excuse. Even worse, the station had to make a public apology for the swearing, and the poor reporter was fired on the spot. I've got no idea what he did after that, but I'm guessing it was a while before anyone let him back on air, especially if he seemed nervous.
Dreams in Motion organization has a fun time for the disabled. A deadly avalanche kills 5 in Colorado.
You're watching the Evening Sunday on NBC North Dakota News, your news leader in high definition.
Gay fucking shit.
Good evening, I'm Van Tu. You may have seen our newest reporter, AJ, on NBC North Dakota News, and he'll be joining the weekend news team as my co-anchor. Tell us a little bit about yourself, AJ.
Your news leader in high definition.
Gay fucking shit.
Good evening, I'm Van Tu. You may...
Number 2. Some mistakes are kinda understandable, but this one, well, this one just isn't. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are, you should know that mocking someone's death on air is not a good idea, right? So yeah, this anchor was reporting on the death of an anti-Syrian politician, and as soon as the cameras cut away, her true feelings came out. She started asking why it had taken people so long to kill him, and giving out names of other politicians she thought should be next. The thing is, she was mic'd the entire time, and everybody watching heard the whole conversation. She had no idea, and seemed as professional as ever when she was back on camera, but by that point, the damage was already done. The station had to apologize and explain that they would never wish death on anybody, and the anchor was fired, as well as the dude behind the camera who she was talking to. It's a pretty shocking story, but it really makes me wonder what other presenters are saying when the cameras cut away, because I'm guessing it's not what we expect.
On live television, a news anchor gloats about a politician's death and wishes more of the victim's colleagues face the same fate. Following the assassination of Lebanese anti-Syrian parliamentarian Walid Aidou, a female anchor's tongue slipped with hateful comments as she chatted with a colleague without knowing their mics were on.
Hello, Haj, my condolences.
Her colleague mumbles something that sounds like "my condolences." The anchor woman then says,
So why did it take them so long to kill him?
She cracks up laughing and her colleague joins in. The anchor woman didn't know that her comments were being broadcast for the whole world to hear. NBN is the mouthpiece of its owner, Nabih Berri, a pro-Syrian politician and Lebanon's parliament speaker. In a statement distributed to the media, the station said it had fired the pair and apologized for what it called, quote, an
Here's our honorable mention. Okay, so I know this was a pretty serious screw-up at the time, but I've gotta admit that it's also pretty funny. I mean, this anchor was fired for pronouncing someone's name wrong, but she did it in the most hilarious way possible. Basically, she saw the name of China's president on her screen, and because it was spelled XI, she thought it was Roman numerals. That's right, she called him 11 Jinping live on air, and apparently that was a big enough deal for her to lose her job. Like, technically she was only banned from reading the news for a few months, but it still seems pretty extreme, especially since she's not the only person to have trouble with his name. Don't believe me? Well, it's true. Something about his name just gives people a lot of trouble. In fact, it's such a huge issue that there are video compilations of journalists trying to get it right. Not just that, but one anchor even calls him DJ, which I think is almost worse than calling him 11, don't you?
Le président chinois attendu à Paris, Xi Jinping arrivé à Lyon.
Mais notre préféré reste Jean-Pierre Pernaut.
Oui, en tout cas, cette visite du président Xi Jinping est importante à plus d'un titre.
Et la bonne. On revient à la visite du président chinois dont le nom ne se prononce pas comme ça.
Oui, en tout cas, cette visite du président Xi Jinping est importante à plus d'un titre.
Pas comme ça, mais comme ça. On a vérifié. Xi Jinping.
Number 1. Getting your words mixed up is something that happens all the time on live TV, but normally the anchor gets a funny blooper out of it and that's all. The thing is, when Susanna Collins screwed up on air, she got a funny blooper and she got fired. So what was it she said? Well, she was trying to say that the Chicago Blackhawks had a huge amount of success, but ended up saying that they had a lot of sex instead. It was pretty funny, and she obviously thought so too, since she tweeted about it, but the response from the studio wasn't so lighthearted. I mean, they did say that they let her go for reasons that had nothing to do with the slip, but people really didn't believe that. The most likely explanation is that they found out she hosted a pretty raunchy sports show online a few years back, and thought people might discover it while searching for the blooper. Still seems a bit harsh though, don't you think?
This game one matchup. Let's send it downstairs to Susanna Collins, who's outside the Blackhawks dressing room. Good evening, Susanna.
Hey, Pat. Well, the second season starts tonight, and this Blackhawks team is ready. All season long, they have been saying that this is the season that matters. And despite the fact that they've had such a tremendous amount of sex during the regular season, clinching the president's trophy matters. And despite the fact that they've had such a tremendous amount of sex during the regular season.
And there's a video on the top 5 mistakes that got people fired on live TV. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a like down below and subscribe to see whenever I upload a video. Also, if you have your own top 5 or top 10 idea, feel free to search my handy form in the description to submit it. With that said, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.